Dangerous, very dangerous, because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
Utter madness that he would run the risk of absolutely jeopardizing his life, because he's not a big heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. He's 5 inches smaller than Joshua.
It should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, big, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. He's not in end. He's undersized.
Few boxing pros warn that Jake Paul is stepping into extremely dangerous territory by facing Anthony Joshua. They argue that Joshua's knockout power is on a completely different level, and Jake has never experienced anything even close to it. Many experts believe this matchup pushes safety limits and could end badly if Joshua lands clean. Gareth A. Davies also cautions that it is improper to let them have a full-on fight due to the circumstances and the massive weight difference.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are Joshua's 1-12. Obviously, Jake Paul is 6-1. Yeah, to win this fight in a 2-horse race, in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight. Who, for me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't. I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight. It's a dangerous fight to sanction, in my view. It sets the wrong precedent. It is 10-ounce gloves. It is a boxing match. It's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns
Barry McGuigan's explosive criticism captures the fear many seasoned boxers feel when they imagine Jake Paul standing across the ring from Anthony Joshua. McGuigan has spent decades around heavy hitters and understands how power changes everything once the first punch lands. He argues that Jake is stepping into something far beyond entertainment, far beyond influence, and far beyond the level where athletic confidence can save someone. Joshua's knockout power is not theoretical. It is proven against men much bigger, stronger, and more experienced than Jake. McGuigan highlights that Jake is still essentially a light heavyweight and has never fought anyone whose natural weight, reach, and punching damage compare remotely to Joshua.
So some people are saying, you know, AJ's grabbing the bag. There's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing, unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him, or he's not going to go flat out. But you know, I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how, and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is, you know, several divisions below him. That's more like what Jake Paul does. And then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding-dong. And then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy; he could knock anybody out if he hits him properly. But you know, it just seems utter madness. And
from McGuigan's perspective, Jake is not walking into a competitive match, but into a collision with a fighter built to demolish top-tier heavyweights. The size gap is only part of the risk. The level of punching, intelligence, timing, and destructive force Joshua delivers through short shots, uppercuts, and counters is something Jake has never even trained against. McGuigan's frustration comes from watching people downplay the dangers if the ring suddenly becomes safe because Jake has social media confidence or a few previous wins. For him, this matchup is less about hype and more about human vulnerability against a true heavyweight force.
Agreement of some kind where he says, I won't go hard on him, or I'll go easy, or I'll spar with him for 8 rounds, because it's just so ridiculous. I mean, if Joshua hits him properly, he'll knock him unconscious, and if he knocks him unconscious and he gets a bleed in his brain and he ends up with a subdural hematoma and goes to hospital and is in dire straits, where does that leave boxing? That puts us in a very, very awkward spot. So it's hard not to believe that they've got some sort of caveat, some sort of agreement whereby, I mean, most heavyweights box with 10-ounce gloves or something.
Dave Allen's perspective focuses less on hype and more on historical patterns from Jake Paul's previous fights. He notes that Jake built his boxing record through matchups, where both sides walked away financially satisfied and physically safe. The environment was controlled, the matchmaking was strategic, and the danger level was carefully moderated. But Allen believes this scenario is entirely different because Anthony Joshua is not a celebrity boxer, not a retired athlete, and not a cruiserweight playing along for a paycheck. Joshua is an active heavyweight with a championship pedigree, knockout victories over elite opponents, and a history of finishing fights with brutal efficiency. Allen warns that if Joshua chooses to fight Jake with even half the intensity he uses against professional rivals, the result will not resemble Jake's previous controlled bouts. The danger here is not just a knockout, it is the potential impact of heavyweight force on a fighter, whose body has never absorbed anything close to that magnitude. Allen also points out that even sparring with heavyweights does not prepare someone for a real fight, where punches come without warning, without hesitation, and with full commitment. For Jake, stepping in with Joshua is stepping into real heavyweight warfare, not a promotion-friendly crossover event.
But he couldn't beat Tommy. Could he win the area lightweight title? I'm not sure. Don't know the champions. If I had a look, I could tell you, I'm not sure. He then boxes Nate Diaz. So he's boxed 1 boxer so far, if we keep in count, and he's beat none. Then he boxes Andre August, who I believe was a pro, and this is now at 14-3, so he's now actually a cruiserweight. Andre August, I'm not sure. Ryan Borland, 17-2. Again, I'm not sure. Well, fair play, he's beat 2 boxers here. Beat 2 boxers, what can I say? He then fights Mike Perry, who is an MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer, he's not a good boxer. He then fights Mike Tyson, which was an exhibition, weren't it really, for all intents and purposes. Now the big jump here is in 4 months, he's put on 2 stone. So he's put on 2 stone in 4 months. He then boxed with Cesar Chavez and he's now lost 2 stone, he's back down at 14-3, and he beat Chavez, who is a boxer, but has been shot to bits for the last 10 years. So, as far as Jake Paul goes, I don't mind Jake Paul. I don't really know what he does or what he is and what he's achieved in boxing. I would say fair play. I'd say, you know what, mate, why not? I don't blame him. And the money he's made, amazing, buzzing. If people want to watch him box, great. So he started off boxing, I think a YouTuber or 2, basketball player maybe, was he? Some MMA fighters, and he weren't Ngannou, weren't Cyril Gane, weren't Big Man who can box. He was boxing welterweights, middleweights, max, way past the best. But that's also fine because it's an entertainment game and it's okay, that's fine. Loses to Tommy, fights a few pro boxers, and then fights Mike Tyson, which was a professional contest. Well, for all intents and purposes, a bit of an exhibition because, to be fair to Jake Paul, he could have flattened Mike Tyson at any time. People say Mike Tyson held him up, he held back. If anyone was holding back,
Some analysts argue that the danger is not limited to Jake. Anthony Joshua also carries significant risk entering this matchup. They stress that if Joshua wins, but does not dominate flawlessly, the victory may be interpreted as a stain rather than an achievement. For a fighter of his status, reputation is shaped by how decisively he beats opponents, not just the fact that he wins. If Jake lands even one clean punch, critics could weaponize it as evidence that Joshua is slipping or losing sharpness. And if the fight becomes messy or unexpectedly competitive, Joshua could face embarrassment that spirals into public doubt, especially given boxing's unpredictability. Even a single lucky shot from Jake could create viral headlines that overshadow Joshua's entire career narrative. This is why some experts insist that this matchup paradoxically traps Joshua as much as Jake, forcing him into a high-stakes situation with minimal reward and massive image-based risk. On paper, the fight may look simple, but the reputational pressure makes it far more dangerous than most fans realize.
Because even if Joshua wins this fight, it has to be perfect. There cannot be a moment of hesitation from Anthony Joshua. He can't look mentally shot. He can't take a punch, really. If he takes a big punch from Jake Paul, if he gets hurt in any way by Jake Paul, if he doesn't absolutely ice Jake Paul within a few rounds of this 8-round scheduled bout, well then it really affects his credibility. All the things that have ever been said about him, he's a hype job, he's been coddled. He didn't really want to fight Deontay Wilder when they were both in their prime. He's just a big bodybuilder, as Tyson Fury loves to put it. Anyone who's ever doubted him will have absolute ability to do so. And so the fact that this is actually a sanctioned fight, it tells me that Anthony Joshua cannot be going in there, or will not go in there and try to carry Jake Paul. Otherwise, it might as well just be an exhibition. If he does go in there and carry Jake Paul, my fear for him is that most people will not be aware that that's what he's doing. Reputationally, it would just cause serious damage. And like I say, I think the only way he comes out of this unscathed, reputationally, is by going in there and securing a clean knockout. Anthony Joshua can't do anything to boost how people view him as a boxer in this fight. All it can do is damage him, unless he's punch perfect. He's fighting someone who realistically has nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. And that in itself can be dangerous, it can be risky. And given that Jake Paul has achieved so little, given that Anthony Joshua wants to remain relevant and credible, so it seems, because he has a couple of potentially big fights left, especially against Tyson Fury, why is he doing this? He doesn't want to jeopardize that, surely. Well, I can tell you exactly how I think he has rationalized this in his mind. The first thing is that he's going to get paid an absolute shed load of money. Around 50 million is what we're hearing. I've heard 50 million pounds, 50 million USD, but whatever happens, it's a significant amount of cash. Possibly will be one of his highest ever career paydays, possibly similar to what he'd make for a Tyson Fury fight. But for what? Like 1% of the risk? I don't know how to put it in numerical.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned.